Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what are you afraid of? What are people at IKEA afraid of? Well, I mean, there's some reasons to be afraid of things. Fire, that's a big one. Shoddy workmanship from your people, injuries, inspectors, and clowns. Why? Because everyone's afraid of clowns. It just is. I actually was going to dress up like a clown. I thought I couldn't even do it. It freaked me out too much, but I get it. We all have our fears, and that's what we're going to talk about today is how to overcome them. So we also have in this industry, people are climbing on roofs, they're crawling in small ducts. So there's all different kinds of fears. And when it talks about fear of heights, when you see this picture, is it not just me that is freaky? And why is she wearing those shoes? If you're going to climb up, hundreds of feet above you should wear more sensible shoes. But that a lot of people in your industry are dealing with, climbing up on ladders and up on roofs, and I get that. There's also the fear of closed spaces. Claustrophobia is the fear of closed spaces. For example, I'm going to the liquor store and I'm afraid that it's going to be closed. But what am I afraid of right now? Well, it was technology. This platform we're working on, it's great, but it would be much harder to manage if I didn't, and I would be much more afraid if I didn't have someone to help. So thank you, April, for being there. And that has eased all of my fears, knowing you're there in the audience and ready to jump in at any moment. That's good. So Wi-Fi went down a few minutes and I had to talk to my family. They seem like nice people, but a lot of people's fears are different than they used to be, right? We're afraid, am I going to be able to charge this phone? In fact, when you want to punish your kids, don't take away their phones and tablets. Take away their charger and watch the fear in their eyes while their battery slowly dies, right? But most people, I think, if we were to narrow it down to what their fears are, we don't want to look stupid, we don't want to fail, and we don't want to make a mistake or be wrong. And this is true as leaders and people who own and manage businesses, but we don't want to look stupid, right? I think Brian Reagan said it best, I'm trying to go through life without looking stupid. It's not working out so well. I mean, people just do stupid things. It usually starts with, hey, hold my beer, and then something stupid follows that, but there it is. My biggest fear is that my wife will sell all of my guitars for what I told her that I paid for them, but we have to be brave, and that's what this speech is about. We feel the fear. Everyone feels fear, and if you're not alive. It's okay to be fearful and have some trepidation. Fear kind of guides us of what to watch out for, but we do things anyway because everything we want is on the other side of our comfort zone. More clients, more business, more money, more everything is just one step out of our comfort zone. So we have to be brave, right? And I think we're all brave until we realize the cockroach can fly. What do you mean it has wings? Now I'm afraid. Now I'm scared. But we move forward towards fear, and that is better because it becomes smaller and more manageable. When we just let it sit there or we ignore it, it's harder to handle, meaning things don't get easier as it relates to fear with time. We just have to jump, right? We just got to jump. Now, this is my very first parachute experience. I know Randy, your president, has jumped many more times than me, but and obviously, if it didn't work, we wouldn't be here. But it is it was my greatest fear was looking out the side of a plane and having someone push me out, because that's how it started. But facing your fears, it sometimes is just taking that step and knowing that things are going to be okay, because I believe we can do more than we think we can. So let's take 15 different things we can do to be better at managing and overcoming our fears. And the first one is that everyone fails. So fear of failure, if that's your biggest concern, everybody fails. Everyone's got some epic failure in their past, and we just need to laugh it off, right? No, and the other thing is, nobody wants to see you fail, right? You don't want to see me bomb right now, do you? Do you? No, nobody wants to see that. We kind of pull for people. So if you're afraid of failing, know that when you're in front of an audience or you're doing something, most people do not, unless it's NASCAR, then we want to see a crash or two. But most times we want to see people succeed, right? And everybody fails. There's epic failures. I'll show you a couple that I think are funny that I don't know how this happened, but you laugh at it. That's how we laugh at it. Somebody put this together for the West Washington Telephone Federal Credit Union, but it says, what the credit union? I mean, that's a failure. How can that happen? Somebody made this sign. If you see, kids, if you see a guy that looks like that, you run as fast as you can away from him, right? It says slow. No, you run fast. I think whoever put this sign in the window wasn't really thinking it through. It's great for single people. Buy a bed, get a free one-night stand, right? That's good. If you're married, not such a good deal. I suspect this is going to end badly. I think this is going to be an epic failure. This one, I don't think it's a subtle, but I think it didn't quite work. We have all your back-to-school supplies, a 12-pack of Miller for $7.99. Kids are out of the home, getting back to school. Just go get your 12-pack of Miller. You're going to be fine. We've been day drinking anyway, right? This is for Home Depot. This is a failure. You can do it. We can help, right? It's a Home Depot. It's do it yourself. Restrooms. You can do it. We can help. Now, I got this. I think this was a billboard, and somebody climbed up and says, this year, thousands of men will die from stubbornness. No, we won't. Here's one. Great energy, but not so much. Somebody really wrote this. I think it's a failure. If we can't make you look good, you ugly. Here's one. Tasty crackers. No. Fail. Trespassers will be violated. That seems kind of harsh. This used to say no, you turn now it says no, you didn't. So we laugh it off, right? We just laugh. We're going to look foolish anyway. So if the worst happens, we fail. Big deal. I mean, I personally fail all the time. Someone said to me, Pilates, I thought you said pie and latte. I didn't know what. Oh, well. Because, it's funny when you see a motivational speaker, and I don't live in a van down by the river, but I'm a bigger guy, kind of like Chris Farley's character. I told my wife, isn't 250 the new 180? She's like, no. But I'm trying to get into fitness. I'm into fitness. I'm going to fitness this whole pizza in my mouth, right? Because it's all the food groups. So I'm not afraid, right? If something bad happens, you laugh it off and you move on. And I think that's the best way to do it. The next thing is, number 2 is think small, right? Big is scary, but small, if we break it down into simple, easy to tackle, where we almost are short of success, we can overcome. And so the biggest of projects that we've been putting off, I know we all know this, but really break it down as far as you can. There's a woman named Sark who says, break things down so they take 5 seconds to start and 5 minutes to complete. So a big project that might take an hour, you break it down to these little pieces, and you're comfortable at least, I'm only going to 5 seconds, I'm just going to set it up. You're working, I'm only going to do it for 5 minutes. And then you get into it and you realize it's not as scary as you thought. But big is scary, small is doable. And small, you rack up some wins, and next thing you know, you got confidence and you're moving up. Here's a good example of that. I accidentally wore a red shirt and khaki pants to Target, and long story short, I think I was promoted to assistant manager. I mean, that's how fast that works. But it is a bunch of small, if we could take a bunch of small things and achieve them, just like Vincent van Gogh said, great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. We can do the small things. So we just do a bunch of them, and then we have a big success. Van Gogh was also a little crazy. He cut off part of his ear and sent it to his ex. And I thought, if I sent a body part to every girl that dumped me, I'd just be a finger. So there you go. So small changes over time can make a big difference. I mean, think about this. So the first woman to wear trousers happened in the 1880s because she didn't want to wear a dress while riding a bike. And then in the 1960s, Mary Tyler Moore was the first woman to wear pants on television. And she got in a lot of trouble for it. And then it wasn't until 1993 that women were first allowed to wear pants on the floor of the Senate. So you can see over time, these changes are getting bigger and bigger. And even though times change, we still put our pants on one leg at a time, unless they're skinny jeans, because then you got to like jump up and down. And anyway, well, we've come a long way. Look at how far we've come, right? No, but seriously, today pants are more comfortable. little improvements over years and years and years have led us to this most comfortable and stretchy of clothing. I always say about yoga pants, things that tell the truth. Small children, drunk people, and yoga pants, right? They don't lie. All right, the third thing we can do is to expect the best, right? We take a positive approach, because if you take fear plus negativity, you fail. Meaning, who would want to try something if you believe that it's not going to work? Like, that's parachuting. Randy will back me up on this. I don't jump out of the plane with the worst like possible. Like, gosh, I don't think this is going to work. You come in with the approach that, yes, we're going to make this work. We're going to find a way. It's going to be great. And the reason for that is, as Randy Russo, who is an IKECA member, says, failure is not an option. I like that. Not only are we not going to fail, it's not even an option. Thank you, Randy. That's a good quote. And so, and I asked him for that quote, and he provided it. Now he stole it from someone else. That's his philosophy. So we have these expectations, right? The blue line is where we thought our career was going. The red line is what's happening, which has little failures, and not failures, but little dips along the way. But it's not a straight line up to success. And the yellow is why people drink, right? Because we expect it to go all the way. We're going to have some ups and downs, and that's fine. So positive thinking will help you do anything better than negative thinking will. So you'll have more confidence, according to Zig Ziglar. I mean, for instance, you look like the first day of spring. That's very nice. It's positive, upbeat. You look like the last day of a long, hard winter, right? It's just sometimes it's how we phrase things that give us the confidence to do it. Like, it sounds more upbeat, positive, like we can make this happen. Casey Stengel said, keep the people who hate you away from those who are undecided. We should surround ourselves with people who want to lift us up, that believe in us, that push us, that make us feel like we can do anything. We don't want to be around a bunch of negative Nellies that say, don't try that. It's scary. It's risky, but it's exactly what you need to do. You need people who are on your side, right? My wife and I were sitting drinking wine, and she said, I love you so much. I don't know how I could live without you. I said, that's nice. I said, is that you talking or the wine talking? She said, no, it's me talking to the wine, right? So maybe we're married to a negative person, whatever. But you overcome, right? You put up your happiness shield to deflect any negativity. Because I believe what you put out, you get back. You put out confidence, you put out fearlessness, you go out and do things that other people think you can't, it comes back to you. It works. It just, the opposite of true. Negativity drags people down. I mean, it's true. When men socialize, they insult each other, and they don't mean it. But women, when they get together and socialize, they compliment each other, and they don't mean it either. Am I right? Right? Well, positivity is a good thing. So what do? So number 4, we fake it. Maybe we don't feel it inside, but we put out the vibe that we got this. If you're a leader, as this group is, you have to be confident. If you're not confident, people under you certainly are not going to be confident either. They need you to be brave, even if you don't feel it on the inside. And it's interesting because no one's born scared. Well, maybe a little bit, but we're not. We learn it. We learn how to be scared from how we were raised, from things that happened to us in our past, but we can unlearn it maybe not as easily, but we can unlearn it as well. And so Leonardo DiCaprio says, the only thing standing between you and your goals is the lame story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve them. And so I know sometimes you'll have a physical reaction to fear. You'll get sweaty palms. You'll lose loss of breath. You just anxiety. I get it. But it still starts in our head, meaning we can control some of it. And so to do that, one of the things that really helps is if you've had success at something, you've overcome a fear. Here's J.K. Rowling, who says it better than I would. Remember how good it feels to push past your fear and do something you never thought you could, and use that the next time you're afraid, right? So we know how great it feels when we face our fears and overcome them, and we keep that in our head, knowing that what we're about to do, we're gonna make it, and it's gonna be great. And maybe you have a prize or some reward at the end. Or do what I do. So whenever I walk into my office, I walk in with confidence, because I've written 25 books, and I have them all up over there on the wall. on display, and not to show off, but more to remind myself that, hey, I can write, and 2 bestsellers, yeah. But it's having things out that of successes you've had that remind you, hey, I've done this before, I can do it again, and that helps build our confidence. Because confidence and courage, they go hand in hand, right? The most confident man in the world, I don't always stay in hotels, but when I do, I take all the little soaps. So number 5 is a bigger purpose. So it's bigger than you, right? It's not about you, it's about them and what you do for others. So now you're out of the equation, which sometimes is the best thing possible. If we're trying to sell someone and we're not thinking about what's in it for them and how we help them and all that they get out of it, we get a little nervous because we should be confident about our services and how what we do prevents fires and is required and makes things look better and cook better and everything. But I think when we focus on what we do for others, we're more confident in selling because we're not selling anymore. We're helping, we're teaching, we're informing. That's the difference between selling, saying, I sell, I'm selling what I do, or I'm just trying to help people find the best service that I know will help make their kitchens better and their exhaust better. So you take yourself out of it. We're of service to others, right? And that pushes us past our fears. The word service has serve right in it. We're here to serve others. This company knows what they do and they're confident. Your number 2 is our number 1, the turd burglar. See, that's we're gonna help you out. But, the message that people get today is we don't care about you, according to USA Today. This woman is writing to customer service, and she says, "Dear customer service, first of all, you should know I'm typing this with my middle finger." That's how people feel. So the more we're about them and less about us, I think the better and easier it is to be confident and to sell and to get our points across and not feel fearful about approaching people we don't know, because we're not approaching to push something on them. We're approaching them to help them, make them better, to do them a service that really will make a difference. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them, said Zig Ziglar. This woman said, "My goodness, that sounds like a big mess, sir. Unfortunately, I realized I just quit." Good luck with that. But we listen, we care. And so if we take ourselves out of it, Gandhi said it best. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. All right, number 6, let it go. Just let it go. So give yourself a break. I don't know how to say this. Let go of things we can't control. Let go of things that, Larry David had a good quote. Anyone can be confident with a full head of hair, but a confident bald man, there's your diamond in the rough. You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? But if we let go of trying to be perfect, think about how much fear is I'm wondering, am I going to do this perfectly? And then you feel like you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be really, really, really good or just good. That takes away a lot of fear. The fear of missing out is another one. We don't have to be at everything. We can spend more time with our family if we feel like we don't have to be at every single thing. The fear of needing for everyone to like us, trying to do it all ourselves, controlling everything and everyone, micromanaging. The fear that our people won't do their jobs, when if we just would give them the outcome we want and give them the tools they need, they would find a way to do it maybe even better than if we micromanage them. Trying to please everyone, taking on too much. And I bet you can add to this list of things. If we would just let go, we'd let go of a lot of the problems and fears that we face, right? One of them, I think, is comparing ourselves to others. Oh, well, that company's bigger. Oh, that person makes more money, or that company has a better trucks or whatever, or better equipment. The fear of not having enough, that's a big one. And so if we could not compare, right? Look at Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Remember when we were poor? No. So is money everything? Does it matter? I don't know, but it seems like when you keep trying to keep up with the Joneses, as soon as you get close to them, they just refinance at a lower interest rate. And there is no there. And with Cher, she was already rich and famous, and her mom said, "Cher, you should marry a rich man." And Cher said, "Mom, I am a rich man." So Bam, there you go. So number 7 is to just do it. So the things we fear doing don't get easier with time, right? So, and it's not like we have to wait for everything to be perfect. I'm afraid that I don't have the resources, I don't have the tools, I don't have the time, I don't have all those things. Just do the best you can with what you have. And so if we don't, laziness fuels more laziness, but activity fuels more activity, right? We just sit around and think about things and don't do anything. It's worse than if we act and react, knowing that we'll just take the first step and we'll figure it out as we go. That's sometimes knowing that you don't have to be perfect and you just want to get started is good. There was a handyman that said, I can do anything your husband can do, but I'll do it now. I thought that was funny. So do the best you can with what you have, because when I think about it, the Gettysburg Address was only 262 words. Michelangelo only used 3 colors of paint mixed together to create beautiful works of art. Einstein, 10 digits. He changed the world. Beethoven, 7 notes and some flats and sharps, but 7 main notes, and he created amazing music. AC/DC does it with just 2 notes. A and D. But you know what I mean? We can do more with less if we give it a try. And if we just do it now, we just be the first to go. Don't think, just jump. I was giving a speech. It was all women. We were on a boat, and there were Navy helicopter pilots' wives. And so it was a sunny day. We're on the deck of the boat, and a hat blew off. Next thing you know, I'm in the water swimming after this hat. So the captain backs up the boat. He helps me back aboard. He says, I'm impressed. You did the right thing there. What can I do for you? I said, you can tell me which woman pushed me overboard, because I didn't jump. I got pushed. But the point is, if we just take that first step, and just we find a way. And I think sometimes if you can do something in under a minute, just do it. So you're not worrying about it, you're not thinking about it. And that person that you do that for in a minute, you respond right away, or you take care of a problem right away, they're impressed. Can't do it for everything, but when you can do it, it's great, because we just start moving in the direction of where we need to go. As we have little wins, we become more confident. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to organize this spring as we head into spring. We're in spring. I think when you think about organizing, that's called Zen organizing. You don't do anything. You just think about it. Yeah, I'm going to get that garage all organized. What I like is what's called the shavunda. The shavunda is where it sounds like a Yiddish term. Oh, the shavunda. No, you know someone's coming over, so you shove stuff under the bed, you shove it under the couch, you shove it on the bottom of the closet, but things are happening. Action is taking place. Things are moving. Something is moving, and that action is better than inaction, and it brings confidence. So number 7 is love and strength. When you love what you do, I think you are much more likely. And even if you love what you do, I was going to say back when we were talking about, it's not about you, it's about them. I mean, you ask someone, would you, swim across shark-infested waters to get to the beach or something? People say, no. But if your daughter or son was waiting for you there and they were all alone, yeah, you could do it. You could do more. And I think when you love your job, you're more passionate about it, and you're doing the things that you do well and you love to do. I just feel like passion and skill gives you confidence. So Steve Jobs would ask himself this question: if today were the last day of my life, would I want to be doing what I'm doing today? And when we go to work, we talked about letting things go. Maybe we're not, some of the things that we're afraid of are things we just aren't suited to do. They're not the best use of our skills and time. If we could hone in on what that is, we'd love our job more. You ask people if they love their job, most people say, take this job and, right, shove it. Drew Carey said, oh, you hate your job? Why didn't you say so? There's a support group for that. It's called Everyone. And we meet at a bar down the street. And I think people complain sometimes about their job a little much, like toothbrush. Sometimes I feel that I have the worst job in the world. Toilet paper, yeah, right. Sure you do. But studies found that happy people are much more productive, and they overcome their fears because they believe that they're doing what they're supposed to do, they love it, and they're good at it. Stephen King was asked, how do you write so many books? How do you write so many gross books? dark. And he said, well, I love what I do, and I have the heart of a small child, and I keep it in a glass jar on my desk. So maybe if it's not a job that we love, it's what the job provides, what the business provides that we can do. Maybe our goal is to sail around the world when we retire. So I would put a sailboat on my desk to remind me this is what I'm working for. This is why I'm pushing myself past my fears, is because I want that more than I'm afraid of doing the things that need to happen. And I think we just fall in love with helping people, solving people's problems, and trying to make all of our customers say, wow. We also know we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Einstein defined the theory of relativity like this. He said, if you put your hand on a hot stove, 1 minute feels like an hour. But when you're doing what you love to do, 1 hour feels like a minute, right? So when you're doing something where time just goes by and you even notice it, you forget to eat lunch, you're so absorbed in what, that's what we need more of. The more of that we can do, the more fearless we will be, because we know it's something we enjoy and probably something we're good at. And we want to work with our strengths. And so somebody loves to do the thing that you hate to do and don't do well. Why deprive them of the joy of doing it? So look at the things that you're afraid of, you put off, you procrastinate, you're like, I don't want to do that, or I'm afraid to do that, or maybe that's something we could give away and take in something else that we do well and enjoy doing. It's called teamwork, and teamwork is for people who can't be trusted on their own. Enough said. All right, so preparation is number 9. Planning and preparation creates confidence. The more we prepare, the more we know, like we just become more confident. I'm ready. We're ready. We practice. Or we eliminate the things that could go wrong. We're planning in advance and we're doing the what ifs. What if that would happen? Well, this is what we would do. That also helps to ease some of the fears. But planning and preparation, I mean, here's an example. They had to plan this out. How else is it possible that Dingleberry, number 92 and 93 that's great. I love that. But that took some planning. The more we plan, the more we prepare, the more we practice, the less nervous we get. Maybe we just eliminate ways things could go wrong. I would put safety first. Well, I'm worried that such and such will happen. Well, let's put in a safety valve or safety net or safety procedure that will make sure that doesn't happen. Now you're assured that it's safe. Now I'm not scared anymore, right? The way I look at it is to avoid cutting yourself when slicing vegetables, have someone else hold them while you chop. Then you won't slice your own fingers. See? You eliminate what could go wrong, and you're safe. We do our homework. Some people, like there's left brainers, there's right brainers, there's whole brainers, there's no brainers. But left brainers are like Warren Buffett. Right brainers are like Jimmy Buffett. So left brainers, they like to get all their ducks in a row. They like structure and order and safety and preparedness and all that. They're Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. They're a different breed. And so for them, it's not procrastination if they do their homework. So they feel like, okay, now I know I'm the smartest one in the room, or I know everything there is to know about this. Now I'm ready to proceed. As long as it doesn't become a form of procrastination, having that kind of ducks in a row preparation can be a good thing. So I was preparing for this speech. I read all about this industry, and I also found some interesting facts along the way. I did my homework. Did you know that there were over 8,000 restaurant fires each year? Also, I found out that it is physically impossible to lick your own elbow. And I found this interesting. Barry Manilow did not write the song, I Write the Songs. I don't know, that bothered me somehow. But anyway, you do your homework, and then you're prepared. And you practice. The best performers are the ones that put in the time to prepare and practice. And so for me, I love some of the skits by Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake are so good, so much better than other late nights or Saturday Night Live. They really, you could tell they practiced and prepared more than sometimes you'll do skits with other people. But these two, they really, really prepare, and it shows. Or maybe when things go well, we start a playbook or some sort of success book, whatever you want to call it. But we start noting, okay, well, this works. So next time we're faced with something, we can always go back to the playbook and say, well, we just followed these steps and it worked great, right? Just do this and you'll have success. Or maybe you look at someone who's already done what you want to do and you think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But a playbook is good. For me, I think people find this odd that I'm actually an introvert. I'm pretty shy. I don't like to talk to strangers much if I can help it. And so I was in an elevator one time and I don't know where it came from, but I just a bunch of strangers, and I said to them, I bet you're wondering why I gathered you all here together today. And they laughed and laughed. I said, okay, I'm going to use that again. That's funny. So you get confidence because you've tried it and it worked. And now you know next time you need something, you got something in the bag that you know will work. Number 10, face your fears. So some people describe when they break down fear, well, fear really means false evidence appearing real. So I mean, sometimes fear is legit. Like you should be afraid, but false evidence appearing real for most people. I mean, it's not, it's in your head. You're afraid of something that probably, most likely, very slim chance would ever happen. But your mind, you're going to be the one that's going to happen to. And so, so we need to face our fears. And so for me, Billy Bob Thornton said it best. I don't have a fear of flying. I have a fear of crashing, right? Right. I'm not so worried. I'm worried about the plane going down. And so, I looked it up. You have a very slim chance of dying in a plane. You're more likely to get shot, crash a motorcycle than die in a plane crash. And I was comforted to see that I'm very unlikely to get bit by a shark, even though I've already had one close encounter. So I'm good. But I think if we know the numbers, we see the facts, we take out the fear. Oh, that's very, very unlikely. In fact, no one's ever died on a Southwest Airlines flight. So if your fear of dying on a plane is so strong, fly Southwest. No one's ever died on a Southwest flight. So there you go. Not saying they haven't had some incidents, but they haven't lost one yet. And, seeing that something is safe, I think will ease our fears. So number 11, fear of failure, fear of looking silly, fear of things not working, fear of making the wrong choice. I get it. But you'll bounce back. That's what we need to know. We're going to bounce back. I mean, we're going to fail. It's going to happen. But we're going to fail forward. Because failing is not final. And we learn from our mistakes. I mean, I think every failure is a learning experience. At least it should be. And we shouldn't be repeating it over and over again. And so I found I got this quote from Kathleen Slomer from IKECA, who said, "There's a lot to be said for the old expression, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," right? So yeah, let's not worry so much about if we fail, as long as we're going to live through it and come out the other end better. It takes the fear out. Maybe it doesn't work, but I'm going to give it my best shot and I'm going to do what I can. And when you do fail, you can laugh it off. You could use it in the future. Here's my failure. My wife and I were at a party. We were driving home, and we both were too tired to drive, so we checked into a hotel. And then when we checked out 3 hours later, we got the bill, $400. I said, "Are you out of your mind?" He said, "Well, we have an award-winning chef in the restaurant." I said, "My wife and I didn't eat in the restaurant." He said, "It was there, and you could have." And I said, "Well, don't you have some sort of a napping rate? I mean, $400 seems like a lot." He said, "Well, we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool." I said, "My wife and I didn't swim in the pool. We didn't use the pool." And he said, "It was there and you could have." And to make it even worse, he said, "Oh, we have a state-of-the-art convention center." I said, "My wife and I did not use the convention center." And he said, "It was there and you could have." I said, "Fine." So I gave him $200. My wife was already cringing. I said, he's like, "Oh, no, it's 400. You're 200 short." I said, "Well, I'm charging you $200 for sleeping with my wife." He's like, "I didn't sleep with your wife." I said, "She was here and you could have." Bam. Yeah, I still had to pay the other 200. My wife was mad. It was ugly. So there you go. But I survived, and now I have a great story to tell. So that's the word. At the time, didn't feel so good. Now I laugh at it, right? Falling down is not an accident. Staying down is a choice, right? As Rocky said, it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And we just see people around us who will push us past our comfort zone, but also be there and catch us when we fall. People who have our back, like this. I've got your back. No, literally, I have your back in my hand. But we want people around us like that. Number 12, think quick. So find your inner MacGyver. Resourcefulness gives you confidence because you know no matter what situation, you can get out of it. You're going to be fine, right? You're resourceful. Wolves are resourceful. All they need to survive is for people not to shoot them, and there would be plenty more of them around. But MacGyver would say things like, I just did the best I could with what I had, more times than not, or more times than I can remember. A paperclip got me out of a tight spot, right? So resourcefulness, you just use what you have, and you come up with clever solutions. When you're creative, clever, and resourceful, you have less to fear because you know that no matter what, you'll find a way. And for me, whenever I have a problem, I just sing. And then I realize my voice is worse than my problem, and I feel better, less fearful. And if you have time to complain about something, you had time to do something about it. There was a principal in a school, and she was afraid that she was going to lose her janitor because he was not happy because the girls would put on lipstick and kiss the mirror. At the end of the day, hundreds of lip prints all over the mirrors. So she had fear, but she also had confidence in her ability to come up with a solution. So she got all the girls in the bathroom. She brought in the maintenance guy who was just about to quit and said, girls, this is John. He has to clean off your lip prints at the end of the day, every day. And John, show them how you do it. He said, well, I take my squeegee, I stick it in the toilet, and I rub it around, and then I squeegee off your lip prints. Well, solved the problem because no girl wanted to kiss a mirror that had been cleaned with toilet water. Problem solved. So she was what I would call resourceful. So the power of now is number 13, and there isn't as much fear in the moment, meaning you've heard this expression before, just put one foot in front of the other. And I was trying to think of a good example for that. For me, if I sat down and said, I need to write a bestseller, that right away would paralyze me because I'm just going to, sit down, you need to write the first sentence of the first paragraph of the first chapter. Are you kidding me? I'll sit down and I'll write, I want to dedicate this book to my mom, then I'll write maybe my bio, I'll write the copyright. I start with the easiest things, but I'm just putting one foot in front of the other instead of the big thing of I'm trying to write a bestseller. No, I'm just trying to write the best introduction I can, the best dedication I can, the best back cover copy, and then I'll start working on the book itself. Meaning, if we just focus on the now, I think we have less stress and less fear. Morgan Freeman said, as you get older, 3 things happen. First, your memory goes, I can't recall the other 2. And I think as we get older, we get more experience, we have more confidence because we've done more things. But we also, I think, are pushed because we realize, I don't have I want to do these things, and time and the force of time pushes us to do more than we thought. Because I know when I get on the phone, they ask me for my birthday, and you're scrolling. I'm like, is it even there? Do they even go down that far? You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to feel it. Like, I better, whatever fears I have, I got to get going on some of these things because for me, I looked at the actuary tables. I've already lived 75% of my life. If I'm lucky, I got 20 years left, 20 summers, 20 Christmases, 20, yeah, fear of dying clearly can be bad, but it also can motivate us to do more, right? If you're looking at this actuary and you're, 76 is the average age a man dies. Yeah, I want to get some stuff done. And I feel like today it's hard to find balance like we used to. You work and you work at home and they're different. It's like kind of blurred together, mixed together. So today, finding balance is about living in the moment, being in the present. And there's less fear in the present. You're just more engaged in what you're doing and less worried about what's going to happen and what has happened. You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that I feel that really helps. Okay, so number 14 is having a vision. Clarity is the key to the feeling comfortable about the future. We went through some weird times, and we sometimes kind of lost sight. We don't know what's going to happen next. Who would have called this one, right? But we at least can plan and have what we want to happen out there. It lessens your fear when you have a goal and a plan, right? And if you make your vision of what you want your business to be like, and what you want your life to be like, and what you want your career to be like, it gives you confidence. So this is what I'm aiming for. And the more clear your vision is, the less fear you have, right? So you know exactly what you want to do next. I was thinking maybe we should open a store called Forever 39. All we need to do is sell wine and yoga pants. All right. Maybe we won't do that goal. But the point is that average people have wishes. I think exceptional people have goals. This woman has a goal. When I get old, I'm not going to be sitting around knitting. I'm going to be knitting. I'm going to be clicking my life alert button to see how many hot firefighters show up. So she has a plan and a goal. So this is Steph Curry saying this. Success is not an accident. Success is a choice. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we can choose what we want to happen and work towards making it happen. And when we're working towards a goal, I think you're a lot less fearful of what is going on because you know, well, that doesn't really apply. I'm not going there. I'm not worried about that. This is what I'm doing, and I'm focused on this, and I got a plan. I'm following the plan. That gives you confidence. Now, I'm an extreme goal setter. I mean, I take words, pictures, and music and make a little trailer about the year ahead. So it's like a little mini movie about all the things I want to do. It's in words, pictures, and movement. It's great. I carry it with me, and when I'm bored, I watch it, and it gets me excited, gets me confident about what the future looks like. But I'm also finding other ways to do it. So for me, I have these 8 areas of my life on the bottom, and I have a goal for each. And then and I have one overriding big thing that I want to accomplish this year. And then I take each one and I break it down into the steps, the smallest possible steps I need to take to make this big thing happen. Like I said, break it down. And so I'm not writing a novel or a business book this year. I'm writing 4 mini books. So that's my plan. And then how each little step, and then I give myself points. If I achieve this little tiny step in the right direction, I get 100 points or 500 points. And then I can use those points to reward myself. So I have these little prizes that I get if I get a certain amount of points, and I can spend them on these different things. That's just one way of doing it. But even if you just wrote down one sentence of what your plan is for the year, what your goal is for the year, you're ahead of most people. And then number 14, relax. Since we know that fear can create physical discomfort, and sometimes it's so powerful, it shuts our brain down. We can't even think straight, right? You've heard that expression, I'm so afraid I can't even think straight. And so breathing, as hokey as it sounds, it really does work. And so breathing deeply in, slowly, calmly, and then releasing your fears. I know that sounds, I'm from California, so wow, dude, that's so like California. But I'm telling you, it works. And if you don't believe me, or if you don't want to do it that way, try this. To really calm down, take a deep breath and hold it for 20 minutes. There you go. And then lastly, the 15th thing is it was called stranger danger. Don't talk to strangers when we were kids, which is good advice. I'm not saying that's wrong. But somehow along the way, it became very difficult for a lot of us to talk to strangers or get up in front of a bunch of strangers and give a speech. In fact, that is most people's number one fear. But what Shirley MacLaine said, I thought was great. Fear makes strangers of people who would be friends. Businesses are built on relationships, and the more people we know, the better off we are, right? They just found the gene for shyness. They would have found it sooner, but it was hiding behind 2 other genes. So I think a lot of people are shy. But when we know what we're doing, when we believe in what we're doing, when we know what we do helps others, it makes it a lot easier to talk about it. But still, a lot of people would rather be dead than have to talk to a bunch of strangers. And I get that. But we don't necessarily need to talk to a bunch of people. We just need to find the one person who knows everyone and make them our friend, right? That's called the Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. He knows everyone in Hollywood. If you know Kevin Bacon, you're friends with Kevin Bacon, chances are he can put you in touch with anyone you need to know. And if there's someone in our industry that is the same way, yeah, we would want to get to know them a little better. And it's easy. We don't have to know everyone. We just need to know that person really well. Or you could just be the person that comes a little early and stays a little late. It's just there to help out, like at an event, instead of being the one speaking. If that makes you uncomfortable, or going around shaking everyone's hand, just go in and help. but not in a creepy way. I mean, where they're asking, hey, we're closing. It's time. You need to leave. But yeah, you're there to help, and that in and of itself will put you in contact with a lot of people. And I think a lot of people say, well, I don't have the gift of gab. Well, it's actually not really a gift. We're not born with a gift. We learn it, and we can learn how to do it well. I mean, the tips for small talk are mostly common sense, which is kind of a lot like deodorant. The people who need it the most never use it, but it's so simple. Here in one sentence, Dave Grohl says it great. Be the type of person you want to meet, right? You're a listener. You're inquisitive. You ask questions. You care about the other person. You're funny, maybe. You have some great stories. I mean, this is just be that person that you would like to hang out with and get to know and you find exciting. And there you go. And I think it's so simple to be a good conversationalist and approach people. And that's because it's not about being a good talker. It's about being a good listener. Listen and silent actually are the same letters. And I think I get it because when we realize that we talk at a rate of about 225 words a minute, but we can understand and retain and process 500 words a minute, no wonder you're way ahead. And so it's easy to interrupt. But no, just slow down, let people talk, and you become a great conversationalist. And it doesn't have to be even a long conversation. A good conversation is like a mini skirt, short enough to retain interest, but long enough to cover the subject. See? So it doesn't have to be a lot. And all you need to do is ask questions. You ask a good question, and the person will give you an answer. And so here's a question. Did you know that the first protective cup was used in hockey in 1884? But the first helmet wasn't worn until 1974. It took men 100 years to realize that their brain was also important. Did you know that? So you ask a question, you find common ground. Everyone's got a favorite food, movie, talk about the weather that you're both experiencing, but it helps to know a little bit about a lot of different things. So you can talk about a lot of things and carry on a conversation that way and sound sort of knowledgeable. My wife says I can be charming, funny, and interesting for about 3 minutes, and then I need to get out of there. Just go. So we've been together for close to 45 minutes, and I guess it's my time. I've reached the end. And so I'll share this last little bit of advice, my little quote. May you push yourself past your fears to have the kind of success that makes others question their life choices. And if I may, I just want to say I am honored to have been asked to speak at this conference because you are truly the unsung heroes, right? You're like the offensive lineman of business. You never hear the lineman's name or number until there's some sort of a penalty. You do such important, valuable work, and yet nobody really knows. And so I want to acknowledge that in learning as much as I could about this industry, that I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So with that, I want to thank you. I want to toast to you, just water, and thank you for letting me be a part of your conference. It was an honor and a joy. I really enjoyed it. I guess I would say you've been a great audience, but I haven't seen or heard of you. But I've enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Thank you very much. You were great.